Can somebody please explain how we ended up so lucky? Like 3.8 billion years of life on Earth, yet we are the ones who get to live during this time period. We were millimeters away from scraping horse turds off the side of the street in the late 1800s. Yet we're the ones who get to witness what was life like before and after the singularity. There's only a few generations who get to witness that, and we're a part of that. That is quite phenomenal. I'm kind of at a loss for words here. Nonetheless, I think 2025 is going to be the fastest year so far. I think this year, everybody is underestimating how fast this is going to be. This is going to be a very accelerated year. And we're going to look back at the end of this year and say, okay, this is obviously the beginning of the singularity. And the year after will be so much faster, and the year after will be even faster than that. So things are exciting. I don't know what else to say. If you haven't had a chance, we basically already had a year's worth of progress within just the first week of 2025. NVIDIA dropped their little digit supercomputer, a little mini supercomputer that literally can fit inside of the palm of your hand. You can network two of these things together and run the biggest open source models on just two of these little devices. So that means you have a little stack of computers that are this big, and you can run a 405 billion parameter model that is open sourced on just that. If you look at the Mac Minis, usually you have to string like 5 or 7 Mac Minis together to get that much power, which is pretty impressive that NVIDIA miniaturized it by that much. And if you look in 2022, this is what an exaflop data center looked like in 2022, a singular exaflop. Now it looks like this, quite smaller. Pretty insane. We miniaturized that thing by quite a bit. And this is what happens whenever you apply artificial intelligence to pretty much anything, right? You get these like quantum leaps in the efficiency and capabilities of the systems whenever you apply artificial intelligence to extend the reach of humans. Now, as models become more accurate, more precise, and more intelligent, this is going to just continue to go faster and faster and faster. We're only witnessing the very beginnings of AI being applied to building its own architecture, being applied to building its own computational power. So the future is bright, to say the least, and things are just starting to accelerate. We're just starting to get models that are powerful enough to actually and effectively apply to these areas, and the models are exponentially growing. Obviously, we have the chart of the past 5 years of model development. The models aren't slowing down at all. There's actually good reasons to think they're speeding up, and yeah, things are going to continue to grow much, much, much faster into the future. So really what I want to do in this video is talk about what should we be doing? What am I doing as an individual? And maybe you can have some potential insights for that. I have a lot of big plans for 2025. I hope you guys can stick around for it and get some value out of the things that I'm going to be doing on this YouTube channel. Plan on building in public a lot. Plan on launching a decentralized economy, which we're already starting to build. Link in the description below if you want to join that. Nonetheless, in this video, I just want to talk about my energy going into 2025, how I'm going to be allocating my personal attention to lean into the momentum, because the momentum and the speed and the acceleration is increasing. Therefore, we must do the same if we want to maximize our position in the future. And hopefully by me sharing my goals, my insights, and my energy going into 2025, you can read into that and find some gold nuggets or get some insights that you can apply for yourself going into 2025. That being said, let's jump into the video. The first thing we must come to terms with is that we are amidst the singularity in the true sense of the term, the point at which you cannot see beyond. While we cannot see beyond the singularity, and we don't know what's going to happen in the future, what we can do is build an extremely solid foundation for ourselves, and that's what this video is about. And the interesting thing is Ray Kurzweil actually came out recently and said some of his predictions And I think he said it in January 4th this year in 2025. I think he said these things. It was maybe the 4th or the 5th. But he basically agrees. We are beginning the singularity. And by the end of 2025, we'll look back and say, okay, we are obviously in the beginning of the singularity. And he said by 2030, we are going to have material abundance and the world will look completely different in the future. But the thing is, abundance isn't always spread out equally. I think, as you can tell throughout all of previous time in the universe, all of humanity, things always form hierarchical structures in the universe, whether it's resources, whether it's influence over others, even if you don't have proper authority over another individual. Because I am a big believer in a decentralized future with decentralized authority where there isn't any human that has authority over another human. I do think influence will still exist. It won't be that you have literal authority, but you have influence over others. That is something that will just always happen unless we just rip out all of the genetic programming of humans, which I don't think we're going to do. So we are amidst the singularity. What does this actually mean? Technology and science will be accelerating faster and faster, for one. Two, we will all be surpassed by AI and intellect, or just the ability to do anything. AI is going to surpass us pretty much everything, and that's okay. Number three, things that once seemed impossible for you to do as an individual will become possible whenever you have an artificially intelligent machine that is the most capable thing on earth. The things that you never thought you would be able to do before, you will now be able to do. Literally, the measurement of intelligence is the measurement of how capable something is. That's a simple way to put it. Okay? Number four, unemployment is going to happen rapidly. I think we're going to see the first spike in 2025, and it'll exponentially grow until 2029. And at that point, I see a future where there's hardly any humans in the economy by that time. Number five, the economy will turn white hot. This will be the economic singularity. First, we have the technological singularity that happens in the realms of science and technology. Then we'll have the economic singularity, which happens within the physical world. Next, we will expect to see centralization of power to begin at rapid exponential rates. Companies like Claude, Anthropic, companies like OpenAI, XAI, Google, every company that is building a frontier model and isn't open sourcing it will have a lot of centralized power, especially OpenAI, for example. They're the ones that are closest to superintelligence. Eventually, they'll have superintelligence internally. You'll also have superintelligence, but it will be orders of magnitude less powerful than the superintelligence they have internally. And this is going to be for intentional reasons by the company OpenAI themselves. They want you to have extended capabilities as long as it's not better than theirs, right? This is just an evolved psychological mechanism of humans. It would be unwise for us to predict the opposite of that, okay? Next, once this all happens, the space age will be at our doorsteps. This technology is so deflationary and it causes prices to collapse so rapidly that by 2050 to 2060, literally the space will be our backyard. The only thing limiting that right now is some technological things, and then mainly it's just cost. It's very expensive to go to space. Obviously, SpaceX and Elon Musk has changed that drastically, but this is going to continue to happen even further. So let's understand the true consequences of what is actually happening. We just kind of laid out what does it mean, what is this stuff, what is happening right now. What are the consequences of that? So there are two sets of people after any technological revolution. Those who accelerate with the technology and those who watch the acceleration of technology. Guess which group of people complains about the other group of people becoming more wealthy, more resourceful, more autonomous, higher agency as an individual? Well, it's always the group of people who decided to opt out, the group of people who decided to not participate. Basically, what I'm saying is, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person who just sits on the sideline and doesn't participate in the acceleration of technology. What I want to do is try to put myself in the best position possible for the future and accelerate with the technology. And I recommend everybody watching this video to do the same. Literally lean into the momentum, gain as many insights from my YouTube channel as possible, or any YouTube channel for that matter, and accelerate with the technology and maximize your position in the future. While yes, the future will be very abundant, remember, resources always are fallen into hierarchical structures. There will always be somebody with more resources just because private ownership will continue to exist. At least I hope. I hope private ownership continues to exist. Otherwise, it'll be a future I wouldn't personally like to live in. But see this picture on the right here? This is a guy living in an orbital space mansion. This seems insane right now. This seems completely unrealistic. In 50 years from now, this will probably be normal. Like, there was a video with Sam Altman talking with one of the news sources. I forget who it was, but they asked him, like, what do you expect to be scarce in the future? And Sam Altman said, currently people will have their beachfront property and they'll look at their neighbor's house and they'll be like, wow, they have such a nice place. But in the future, in a somewhat distant future, but not too distant, people will look over and be like, wow, he has such a nice galaxy, right? I don't think we're going to get there that quick. I don't think we're going to be owning entire galaxies in 10 years from now. Definitely not. In 10, 20 years from now, I think we'll have capabilities of going to space that we didn't expect. And 30, 40, 50 years from now, orbital space real estate will be something that is just like, oh, yeah, that happens. That's what I expect. Maybe I'm wrong, but nonetheless, we'll be living on different planets. Obviously, we start building the Mars colony in just 3 years from now. That's pretty insane. Literally just 3 years from now, we will start building the Mars colony as long as everything continues to go properly. And again, the important thing on this slide is for you to take advantage of the opportunities in front of us. Like, for me, I don't want to be the person who just sits on the sideline. I want to take responsibility of my life instead of blaming others for my situation in the future. That's what I'm doing today. That's why I'm making this YouTube channel. That's why I'm building my community. That's why I'm helping everybody do the same, because I think we are stronger together, okay? So, one thing I want to get to through everybody is we were all designed to be entrepreneurs. Evolution has designed us to be independent, not reliant on others. We were all designed to be self-employed. We were all designed to be entrepreneurs. While a lot of people in the economy today haven't been living that way for the majority of their life, that is what evolution has designed you to do. You have it in you, whether you like it or not, or whether you know it or not. It is in there. And you can do it. And it's going to be a lot easier whenever we have artificial intelligence. Like, you're just going to have infinite leverage pretty much. And being entrepreneurial will be something that's very easy to do. And it'll be very fun. Like, whenever you're not actually grinding yourself and you're just like using a leverage and you're just pulling these levers and pressing these buttons and things start happening, you're gonna be like, wow, this is so fun. This is so cool. I'm like doing very big things with very little. It's gonna be pretty cool. Okay. So really start to set yourself into that state of mind. Like, that is what AI enables. It enables all of us to be self-employed. It enables for all of us to have enough leverage to be entrepreneurial. And if we start acting that way today and start thinking with that state of mind today, you're going to be in the best position in the future, because you're going to start adapting with the changes sooner than later, meaning you're going to have first mover advantage. So one thing I want to do, and one thing I'm focusing on right now, is I'm seeking leverage and longevity. I see a lot of people seeking a lot of leverage right now. I don't see a lot of people seeking longevity. Maybe people are seeking like biological longevity, but I also want like an opportunity vehicle that has longevity. I want it to have maximal leverage and maximal longevity, but I won't sacrifice one for the other. I want both, and you should too. Okay? So let me explain. Everyone right now is playing the short game, at least from what I'm witnessing. They're trying to make money fast. Most people are building like artificial intelligence agencies where you have like an automation agency automating specific tasks for companies, or you're selling like AI agent services to companies, or I see a lot of people building GPT wrappers where it's like a software application that uses the ChatGPT API, and you create a unique niche tool or platform from that. Well, yes, these have very good short-term potential. These are high leverage opportunities for the short term. They have no longevity. Once we have AGI, that is the final version of software. You don't need a GPT wrapper with AGI, right? Or building an AI agency. Once we have AGI, you don't need to say, hey, Mr. Company, here's how you can integrate the AI into your company. You don't need that. You just talk to the dang AI. You just talk to it and say, can you do this? And it does it. You don't need to integrate it. It's just there. You just use the tool, right? So these are two models that I don't see lasting very long, right? And because of that, it doesn't fit my framework of leverage and longevity at all costs. So the goal shouldn't be to get rich quick. It should be to get rich for sure and for a long period of time. We want to maximize our position in the future, not just right now, but for the foreseeable future. So here's a question to ask yourself. If you are somebody like me who wants to seek leverage and longevity, this fundamental question will help you find an opportunity vehicle that exists today and will continue to exist for the foreseeable future. And the question is, when every single person owns a computer that can do all economically valuable tasks better than any human can, what is there left to buy? Again, when every single individual owns a computer that can do all economically valuable tasks better than any human, what is there left for humans to buy? If you can answer that question and sell that thing, you're going to be in a very good position. Okay? And my answer to this is the community-based business model. That's what I'm personally building, right? I'm trying to maximize leverage and longevity by building something that will not be automated, but enabled through artificial intelligence. And the community-based business model actually has very good forces for growth. Nature abhors a vacuum, and the vacuum is forming. That vacuum being unemployment, right? As automation takes over, people will become unemployed, and people will be searching for the next opportunity vehicle. They'll be searching for meaning. They'll be searching for many different things. And what do people do historically through the biological mechanism that humans have? What do they do whenever they're searching for these things? They join communities, they join religions, they join cults, etc. So building a community is the highest leverage thing anybody can be doing right now. And it also has long longevity because you cannot automate congregation of humans. If anything, AI enables that, right? And you can even have AIs in your community too. You'll have like a human AI mix in your community, and your community will be something where people can align on a singular mission, whether it's making themselves more healthy, finding sources of entertainment, becoming economically independent. There's so many different things you can build communities around. And people are going to be searching for these as automation takes over. They're going to be looking for ways to spend their time, looking for meaning, looking for opportunity vehicles, looking for anything that provides them with value. And communities are going to be the best places to provide that value. So basically, if you're building a community, one of the best things you can do is be the vessel that helps people navigate the coming changes. Next thing I'm doing is I'm operationalizing my attention. If the information you're consuming doesn't change your behavior, it is wasted time. Because the information I'm consuming should either be giving me actionable things that I can do, or changing my world model and improving my world model, which then changes my behavior. Okay? So if the information you're consuming isn't changing your behavior, it is wasted time. The reason I am operating with such like efficiency and urgency is because 2025 and the every year after requires such urgency. Okay? So your attention is your most valuable asset and is now the only resource that you have limits of. Attention is best allocated towards learning, earning, and living longer. Leverage and longevity is what we should be optimizing attention for in business, life, and relationships. Framework for maximizing leverage is as follows: eliminate, automate, delegate, more, better, new. Very simple. And eventually you won't even need eliminate, automate, delegate. You'll just need eliminate, automate, eliminate, automate, eliminate, automate. So a good example for eliminate, automate, delegate is, let's say I'm building a system, or I'm building a business, or I'm building a community, and I want to make it more efficient and more effective, basically giving it more leverage. So I can put in 1 unit of effort and get in like 7 units of output, instead of putting in 1 unit of effort and getting out 2 units of output. Whenever you make a system more efficient, you make it more effective through the framework of eliminate, automate, delegate. So this system is pretty simple. This is the exact framework Elon Musk uses. If you have something that doesn't need to be there, you eliminate it. And you are always auditing your systems to see if there's anything that can be eliminated. Next is automate. If you can't eliminate anything else, but you can automate something, automate it, because that is more efficient than delegation. But if you can't automate something and you have to delegate it, delegate it. But eventually you won't have to delegate anything. Next is more, better, new. This is the framework that OpenAI used, for example, to scale up their AI models. If you find something that's working, do more of it until you start to hit a point of diminishing returns. Then you make it better. And then you do more of that thing that is now better until, again, you hit a point of diminishing returns. And then you make it better. And then you do more, and then you make it better. And you continue this cycle until you hit like the squeezing point, the literal upper limits of what you can do. Then you switch to the new thing. Okay? So that is the framework for leverage. Again, the question for maximal longevity, which we already went over, is when every single person as an individual owns a computer at an individual level that can do all economically viable tasks that any individual can do, what is there left for people to buy? That tells you what you can do now for the foreseeable future, which my choice is a community business model. And then the framework of leverage tells you how to maximize that thing. So again, we're maximizing leverage and longevity. We're at the intersection of these two things and focusing ruthlessly on these things. Violence is the answer. Not literally, but figuratively. Things are moving violently fast, and they're going to be moving much faster soon. If you want to keep up, you must need to move violently fast as possible too. Eventually, there will not be a single human who can keep up with the accelerating paces of technology, but the last man standing, the person who keeps up for the longest period of time, will be the person who has the best position in the future. It's quite that simple. So move violently fast. Violence is the answer, not literally, figuratively. Which, again, this is another reason why communities are so effective. Because whenever we're all within this one community, we have this collective intelligence-like effect. We can keep up with the changes much quicker because we're now all searching and staying on the upper limits of the technology. So whenever we have a community, it makes it very easy for all of us to navigate the changes together because we have this super intelligent-like effect. It's like during the 2024 election, the Polymarket polls matched and predicted the exact outcome of the election because of the hive mind-like effect. We had literally a super intelligence-like effect, and the same thing happens whenever you have a community of humans that are all tightly interconnected. So for this last slide, this is just an example of the community that I'm building. Again, I think communities are the biggest opportunity moving forward into the future, which is why I'm building one. And I also think it's going to be very powerful and a very good mechanism that the members within communities can use to keep up with and stay on front of the upper limits of the technology, which is why I'm building a community for myself. And I'm actually helping my members who join build a community for themselves if they want to. So one thing that I'm doing with this community is I am building a distributed cloud computing cluster so that any members who join the community, we can all hook up our GPUs to the interconnected nodes, and we can have like a super cluster in the cloud. And as NVIDIA drops more powerful hardware, we'll all have our supercomputers that are local and decentralized, and we can connect to this cloud supercomputer to run ASI level models in the future. So that's part of the vision that we're building here. We're also working on decentralized currency for the community so that we can barter and trade amongst our members. And we're also working on energy technology. And really, the goal here is to build from first principles up a decentralized economy and ecosystem for all of our members so that we can all have access to the most powerful technologies in the future. And the way we're going to do that is by maximizing the amount of intelligent members in the community, maximizing the amount of energy, maximizing having decentralized finances, maximizing the amount of compute that we have, and then maximizing our ability to run more powerful AI models into the future, have good robotics, and have 3D printing, nanotechnology, or any technologies that come out into the future. So really, we're aligning ourselves with the first principles, the foundations, the very fundamental things that enable us to have the best position possible in the future. If this is something you'd be interested in joining my community, the link is in the description below. It should be labeled quite obviously. Feel free to join, and I will see you in the next video.